fact...
From the Twin Cities Action Center, News 11, your new choice for news.
Good evening. Topping tonight's News 11, 24 hours of extremely violent weather.
Weather causing millions of dollars in damage and leaving hundreds homeless.
Tonight, the cleanup is well underway in the towns of New Brighton, St. Anthony, and Long Lake after two separate storms ripped through the area. We have a team report on the storms and the cleanup, beginning with Dale Shornack.
Late today, cranes moved in and cleanup crews began hauling away some of the twisted metal and debris scattered around the devastated Apache Plaza in St. Anthony. Only building inspectors were allowed inside the mall. There's concern that parts of the tattered roof might be ready to collapse. In surrounding neighborhoods, daylight revealed the full extent of the damage. In the city of New Brighton, building inspectors went house to house surveying the destruction. The losses they found were staggering.
We have about $40 million in damage to many apartment buildings and private homes. At this time, we know that about 250 families will not be able to get back into their dwelling units for a long period of time. Another 240 families may not be able to get in until maybe after the weekend.
Some homeowners lost only a few shingles. Some lost their entire house. The woman who lived here, 88-year-old Frances Schrag, lost her life. Cleaning up the debris in these neighborhoods is a heartbreaking task.
What can you do? Just make the best of it, and that's all. That's all you can do.
This is the best way out, to stay here and see it through.
Tonight, the National Guard is still on patrol in storm-damaged neighborhoods. About 2,500 homes are still without power. It should be back on tomorrow. It will take days to clean up after this storm, weeks to make all of the repairs, years to forget about it. Today, another possible tornado damaged homes near Long Lake. Melissa Young has that story.
The tornado-like winds ripped through this part of Long Lake just before 10 this morning, leaving a path of destruction close to 2 miles long. 23 homes suffered damage from the storm, which left shredded roofs, shattered windows, and many collapsed garages.
There's a big roar, and your ears popped, and everything just started flying in our house, and part of the shingles went off the back, and it tore the fence down all around the house.
I've seen the people's across the street garage just lift off of the car and move about 20 feet.
The biggest concern after the storm was the large number of downed power lines, which left much of Long Lake without power throughout the day. But Northern States Power crews worked into the night, and all power is supposed to be restored in the area by late tonight.
Go to your house and stay there, please.
Early damage estimates were placed at close to $1 million, and it could be several weeks before this community is cleaned up and back to normal. Melissa Young, News 11 in Long Lake.
Of the hundreds of families left homeless in last night's devastating twisters in New Brighton and St. Anthony, all have found shelter tonight with relatives or friends. Authorities in those two communities say none of the Salvation or Army Red Cross shelters, which had been open to tornado victims, is occupied tonight.
Most of the people, as far as I know, have either gotten in with friends or we have already sheltered them in the local motels, and therefore we have not needed to shelter them. The same is true in St. Paul as well as here in Hennepin County. A lot of our people are out there right now, and we're having trouble putting out food because everybody's gone to other people's houses or their neighbors' houses, so we're actually having trouble pushing food right now, even though it's free and everything else.
Paetzer says there have been few reports tonight of any looting. Residents, he says, are pulling together to overcome last night's tragedy.
State officials tell News 11 tonight that it's still too early to pin an exact dollar figure on the tornado damage. The state Civil Defense Department says estimates range anywhere from $5 to $75 million statewide. In New Brighton alone, as you heard earlier, damage estimates are running $40 million and 500 people are homeless. And tonight the death toll stands at 2, with more than 40 people injured statewide. That sound was not heard last night in St. Anthony. The tornado touched down there at 8:33 last night, and a minute later, the National Weather Service sounded the sirens in the metro area, but St. Anthony heard nothing.
When I went to the basement, because I was scared of the wind blowing, I saw everything flying outside, I heard no sirens. And I stayed down there 2 or 3 minutes. My husband said that it's over, and I came up, and I still heard no sirens.
The sirens also didn't go off in South Minneapolis and parts of Bloomington and Ridgefield. Civil defense officials say they don't know why the sirens failed in southern Hennepin County, but they believe they know what caused the problem in St. Anthony.
There was no power to the sirens due to the power outage and the weather effects on the power system. So we were quite certain that's the reason those sirens didn't activate.
Outside the metro area, another storm ripped through the small town of Hoffman, Minnesota, just west of Alexandria. A home there was totally demolished, but its 4 occupants escaped without injury. And a few miles away, a roof was blown off one barn and another barn collapsed, killing 13 head of cattle inside. And along a country road, a school bus overturned. The driver and passenger were not injured. And severe storms hit out of state, too. Further south in Morris, Oklahoma, a midnight twister ripped through this little town in less than 5 minutes. Buildings collapsed, homes were destroyed, and 14 people are dead. This morning, the people of Morris tried to pick up the pieces of their scattered homes and conducted a door-to-door search for more victims.